Hey everyone, welcome to the Elite Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Popple, along with my co-host, William McClelland. How you doing today, Will?
All's good, man. All's good. Let's have a good episode. I'm pumped, man. We got a
Yeah,
great
man.
guest today.
Yeah, so today, Holly Darcy is going to be joining us today, who she sold 27 homes last year, totaling to almost just under $12 million. That was the first 12 months as a solo agent. And she also is a military spouse, mom of two, former educator, investor, and a rising leader in her brokerage and association. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Holly Darcy.
Hey there. Thank you. I'm super excited to be here and just really, really grateful. So thank you guys.
Yeah, well, no, we appreciate you coming on, and what an incredible year in real estate. I mean, I knew that the numbers were impressive, but then I was, wanting to know what the breakdown was, and I mean, 27 transactions in a year that most people were pretty stagnant. Not, it's not a real, not the best times to be getting in the business, and you just come out swinging.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got a lot of reps in this year.
Yeah, I would say that's awesome.
Yeah. Getting very, very, I can tell you certain line numbers of the contract and get a lot of reps in. It's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start off here. How long have you been in real estate? And I think it's really important to highlight how long you've been in the area, because there's agents that have been here for decades. And your fast track is awesome. And I think we should really kind of start there, to give the audience a little bit of background, and then just kind of we'll shift into your story, mindset, how you've really captured your audience here. But yeah, let's start. So how long you been in real estate? How long you been here?
Yeah. So I got my license. I believe it was right around the beginning of July 2024. I kind of consider like July and August as I wasn't even really in real estate. I think I did my very first open house in August 2024 because we had some family vacations. It's like I got my license, then we had some other things going on. And so I really kind of jumped into it August 2024. And then I remember there were a lot of changes with the NAR settlement and had my first buyer broker agreement. I decided with my very first buyer, I said, I'm going to go ahead and just get this buyer broker agreement thing sorted out. 4 days before it was officially August 17th is when that mandate took place. And so it was August 13th. I just said, well, I'm just going to go ahead and just roll with it. And I proceeded to hold just a ton of open houses and kind of just really hit the ground running. And then what was the next question? How long have I been in the area? So we got here in summer 2023. My husband's in the military active duty station at Hurlburt Field. And
happy Veterans Day to the man.
Yeah, happy Veterans Day.
Thank you all. No, we've had a really good day. The kids were home today, and we had a nice family day. I only worked a little bit today.
And you're on a podcast. I love it.
Yeah, I was out showing properties just 2 hours ago. So
love it.
Yeah. But yeah, we got here in summer 2023. I consider Florida home. I've lived here for nearly half my life, somewhere in the state of Florida. So I'm very familiar with the area. But yeah, I haven't really spent a ton of time in the Panhandle until we got stationed here. But just kind of decided, well, I can't help that I'm not, a local, but I'm going to, as a military spouse, you make yourself a local. You figure it out, and you really figure it out months in advance. When you figure out, when you're going to be stationed somewhere. So I had pins on Google Maps. I had probably 150 pins of places I was going to check out when I got to Florida when we got here. So I just figured dive right in.
No, that's awesome. So for the listeners, you just got your license August 2024. So just a year. You're not from here, and you're crushing it. So kind of take us through, and I've heard you say it now 3 times. I just hit the ground running and hosted a ton of open houses. Obviously, that's part of the recipe to success. But for those people listening now that maybe, this year was a tough year, not only for lack of better words, veteran real estate agents, like people who've been doing it for a long time. but to get into the business and then to crush it, there has to be at least a few like golden tips that you can talk to some agents and some listeners or some people that might be considering it but have like kind of held off. I've talked to a lot of people. I don't think I would love to be in real estate, or I'd love to be an agent, but this, I don't really know what's happening with the market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was in a transition period. I actually was running my real estate business and a fitness and nutrition consulting business until June. I was running 2 businesses, and I was in that business. I started my own business, HD Fitness, and I ran that. It was a fitness and nutrition consulting. Started in 2015, and I did close it down in 2025, like I mentioned in June. But I really built that from the ground up. And so during that time as a business owner, it was a solopreneur. It was largely on me. I built that to a 6-figure business, and I'm very proud of that. And so awesome. With that, like when you build something like that, you learn so much. And so from, whether it's systems, lead generation, prospecting, basically I just knew and I really had like a, sit down, serious talk with my husband of like, if I'm going to do this real estate thing, this is a really big deal, because I really had a viable, thing going of like, if I'm going to do this, like I've got to work. And so essentially I ran both businesses, which was pretty tough in, spring and summer just this past spring and summer. I really can't even believe I did it. I was definitely burnt out, but I did it, and I did a good job for everybody I was working with. But I kind of knew that I needed to go full time with real estate, at that point. And so that's what I did. So it really just, I kind of just knew that I needed to treat it like a business from day one, and not just kind of see like, oh, let's just see how this goes. I just knew like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go all in.
Yeah. Tell us about how your coaching experiences early on, and how did that help you, set yourself up for success now that, you're in real estate?
Well, you can't fake. I don't think that you can really like people can see if you don't care. And I really, truly, honestly can say I've worked with all kinds of different people this year, and I really care for all their situations, even if they're not always, the just ideal client or, this picture perfect situation, but I really care for their situation. I love the problem solving aspect of it. I'm able to kind of take that bird's eye view from, whether it's with coaching or in real estate, and kind of look at it and go like, how can where can I see, like, what are the pain points? What are the problems? And how can I take my expertise and my genuine care, and, advise this person, or, add advice or guidance into this situation. So I think just the idea of being able to care, and I believe I have a knack for problem solving, being able to see, I know that I have an ability to see multiple different solutions to a problem and be able to quickly kind of distill down to what are the 1 or 2 best solutions, and here's why. I'm pretty analytical in that way. And so I see those things. Honestly, I really see so many parallels in what I was doing before in what I'm doing in real estate, which might sound crazy.
No,
it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, for entrepreneurs or people who are running businesses, especially a solopreneur, you're tied into a lot of things, right? You're paying yourself. You're trying to create systems that work so that you can eventually pay yourself. You're selling yourself. You're selling a product. You're doing all of these things. And now if you have a vehicle that's allowing you to create systems, and like you said, you're solution oriented, you're great at problem solving. It kind of just marries those things that you're already doing. And so it seemed like you made a seamless transition there. But I think something that might be most interesting to those people who don't have a business is like, how do you get started? And you're crushing it. I definitely think a big foundation layer that you have is the fact that you were a solopreneur. I know that's a fact, but I know you have some great, you have great work ethic. I mean, today's Veterans Day, a holiday, you have a family, you're busy, you're always prepared. All of these things kind of layer up to why you had a lot of success. But selling almost $12 million of real estate in 12 months, that's a huge number, especially in a I would say not the best year to be in real estate. So,
and you're in a new town,
a new town. That's why I wanted to highlight that. And new agent,
kids that are crazy,
and 2 kids,
and a husband. No,
yeah. I know that's incredible. So, what do you do from? I guess starting from the top. How'd you pick a brokerage? How did you decide where you wanted to be, and then what team, and did that help in the foundation of creating the runway for you that you've had?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, I would be remiss if I don't mention, like, you guys, my husband is like, he is like my biggest fan. Like, he, like, literally, awesome. I tell him, like, Chase, we're gonna, like, I want to do this, and he's like, he knows, number one, if I say, like, we're gonna do something, we're doing it, and number two, like, he's on, and he is all, like, so supportive. He is like my third hand. Like, he helps me so much, and he is
That's
so
awesome.
And his job, if you guys knew, like, his job is extremely demanding. So we both are in very high demand jobs, but we both very much support each other so much. So I truly, I think that if you're going to be in this business, you're going to need to support yourself. Like, you're going to need to be your own hype person, all of that. But it really helps when you have some sort of support system. That doesn't need to mean a spouse, but it could be, friends or family members or people maybe at your brokerage or whatever it is, but people that are that encouraging ear, because in real estate, mindset is crucial, and you don't always have that, like, positive mindset every single day. So being able to have other people that are supporting you is really, I think, super important in like the long term. And okay, so kind of circling. Okay, so how did I pick a brokerage? Well, we had a realtor. Her name was Mary, and she was referred to us by a really close friend of ours, actually a military spouse who we'd known from, like, our very first duty, like, back in, like, 2011. Okay.
Oh, cool.
A friend I kept in touch with when she found out we were coming here. She said, you got to call our realtor. And she was phenomenal. She actually was our realtor, and then she became my friend. She's a little bit older than me, and I very much see her as a mentor. I really, honestly, so one thing you guys need to know is I originally signed up for my licensing class while I was still stationed in Hawaii. I've been
no way.
My dad, when I was in college, my dad used to tell me, he was in the mortgage business. He used to tell me, Hall, you would make a really good realtor, because he worked with a lot of realtors, right? He's like, you should be, maybe even if you just get your license and sell homes part-time. So I think, like, in the back of my mind, I was like, this was just supposed to happen. And then I couldn't do the online class thing. So I didn't even finish my class when I was in Hawaii. I was in Hawaii, but I was doing the Florida class. Well, I didn't finish it. I do better with in person. So I called Mary one day. This was summer 2024. Yeah. And I called her. I was going to pick up my daughter from a summer camp, and I called her and I just said, Mary, I can't stop thinking about this. I already talked myself out of it once when we were still in Hawaii, but I had such a good experience with you, and I've gotten to know a little bit more about your job. And I was already listening to all these investment podcasts because we have our rental properties. I was like a closet realtor, like, in my head, imaginary for a while, but then I just, kept talking myself out of it because I had a business. I had a full-time job. So I called her and I was like, I can't stop thinking about this. Chase told me to call you. So I call her and she's like, listen, she's like, she goes, I've probably accidentally talked people out of this before. She was like, you would crush it. She goes, go for it. She goes, don't quit your day job or, like, close your business. But she goes, you should do it. And she said, reach out to a couple of different brokers, but if you want to, join our company, we would love to have you. And, I'll, just take you under my wing and mentor you. And, I truly, like, would not be, there are a couple of, like, key people in my, very short career so far, that have been tremendously influential in my success. And, she's for sure one of them. About a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I did switch companies. I just was looking for something kind of where I was at before was like a smaller kind of boutique style brokerage. Everybody was like a family. It was a wonderful place to be, but I just knew that it was time for me to make a switch. And at that point in my career, and it has been a good move. But I don't have any, like, I love everybody over there. And, I'm just so grateful for those experiences, and that really like set up, where I am today. So, yeah.
Yeah. And what brokerage are you with now?
I'm at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and I'm at the Destin office.
Awesome.
Nice. I think that's another thing is you're like fast forwarding and you're crushing things, because switching brokerages isn't, for some of the listeners, it's not as easy as you think. It's just like, okay, I'm done with this job, I'm going to another one, right? So doing that, there a lot of times as a new agent, you might be with a broker for years, and you might have these thoughts, but I mean, you were just crushing it as you're getting into this agent world, like, and you're doing all of these things that sometimes take many years. Like, for people to get their first 12 million in sales, especially in slower times.
I don't think I've ever heard of multi-million in sales in the first year. Like I think you're the first person I met that their first 12 months like sounded like just another year for a solid agent.
So here's my issue is that, so a couple things. So I'm always kind of thinking ahead. I struggle to live in the present for sure. And then I also like have a really hard time. And this is like kind of, like, yes, it has helped me, but also it is a struggle. Like, I like compare myself to like other agents, or like I was on like Reddit. I was on all these podcasts like early on, like comparing myself to people that have been in the business for 10 or 15 years, or they were like on a team. And so they count like all their sales volume. Like, I just was like, and I did set very specific numerical, like performance related goals. One of them was to be on a podcast this year, which I shared with Sam.
Awesome.
We were knocking that off the list.
Let's go.
Woohoo! But I did set some goals, and I kind of knew that, like, okay, if these are my goals, like, what am I going to need to do each quarter, each month? And so that really helps keep me on track. But yeah, so I just kind of like,
let's lay it out for someone. What was like a typical, goal that you had that you were laying out?
Okay.
During the months.
Yeah. So I wanted to sell at least I wanted to close at least 20 sides. And originally I had a goal of 8 million, and then I passed that. And so I said, okay, well, let me try for 10. And then I'm hoping to close in on 12 by the end of this year, get as darn close to it as I can. Let me think. There were some others. Well, I wanted to complete my GRI. I've been very busy, you guys. So the GRI is 7 classes. It's just over 60 hours of continuing education. It's the Graduate Realtor Institute. And I had a goal to complete that, and I just completed it about 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm also in the leadership development program, and I'll be a graduate of that. If anybody is in the local area, the ECAR, Emerald Association of Realtors leadership development program is absolutely incredible. Like, just don't even just do it. It's so apply. You have to apply for it. They interview you. There's an application process. It's incredible.
Who is your mentor and coach?
Our mentors at the leadership development program.
Yeah.
Brandy Brown and Thomas Canada are the 2 leads for that.
Cool. Yeah, we had someone that helped develop that on he was a previous guest, and it was pretty cool. And he shared some slides live on here, and it was really cool. Yeah. And it sounds like something that based off of what he was saying, it's like if you're able to be in an area that offers something like that, it's very unique. I mean, here in Pensacola, they have.
Are you talking about Jeff Goodsell?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's who connected us.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. But,
I forgot to fill Will in on that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's my friend Jeff. Well, my friend and my cohort, partner with leadership development. He's great.
He was sharing all kinds of awesome things. Okay, well. Then now I'm just talking kind of funny because I was trying to make a connection that I didn't realize was already there.
No, but like, I mean, honestly, it's so good. They took us to Tallahassee to go to the Capitol during the Great American Realtor Days. We got to go to the Florida Realtor Convention. Like so it's just a great way and we have people in there that have been in real estate for over 10 years. So it's not just like beginners. And I was actually considered a little bit new for it, but I was, able to apply and qualify. But so my point with all that is just, here's my thing is that I kind of felt like, I can't help that I haven't lived here for 20 years, and I can't help that I have not been in real estate for 20 years, but we've bought 2 houses. I've moved around a ton. I have a graduate degree in education. I've run a business for the past 10 years. My thought was like, I have a lot of strengths. I bring a lot of things to the table. I can help somebody with buying or selling a house. And, and have the energy and all of that. And I figured my thing is like, I need to learn as much as I possibly can. And so I just basically any days that I didn't have like appointments or something, I was like, I need to be in classes. I need to be educating myself. Because it's not just the content, but then the conversations that are with there's agents that have been in the business for 40 years that are in there having conversations. You learn so much. So education is a really big, is very, very important to me.
Awesome. Now, the one question I have, and I know a lot of realtors would probably, love for you to share this is, what lead sources helped you, that you work with, helped you, get all these deals?
Well, the strong majority of my business comes from referrals, but what that means is referrals from, definitely from other clients. I've already had several closings this year that are from closings, prior to. I've also had several out of area agent referrals. And then I've also had quite a few referrals from friends. We've been at 8 or 9 different duty stations. So friends and family members, people that I've kept in touch with over the years. And they are receiving emails from me. They're on my Facebook, they're on my Instagram. And so referrals are definitely, I would say, like the heaviest, way that I'm connecting with people and seeing how I can help them. But it's kind of like it's not just like, a referral from another agent or something like that. It's kind of
right. What role has social media played in your growth and how you approach it with intentionality?
So that's the other part that I wanted to mention. I also did just a real quick aside in the very beginning, meaning like the first like 2-3 months of my business. And I definitely would suggest this to any beginner, really, and they're not going to like it, but go host a lot of open houses, because even if you don't meet anybody, you're going to get very comfortable talking to strangers about houses. And that's really important. So like, just go host an open house. Like, you can call me and I'll have you go host an open house at one of my listings. Okay. Social media is huge. Go ahead.
I was just going to follow up on that because at the former part of the conversation, I heard you mention that 3 times, and that's kind of like a key. I know a lot of new agents, they don't want to do an open house at all. And I think that's what drags the timeline out. I
did like 12 over the course of like 8 weeks.
Right.
And I didn't necessarily want to, but like every single time, but like it, and then if nobody comes in, you can work on stuff, or you can, it's like, but when people do come in, then you're able to go, oh yeah, what is the date for the HVAC? Or let me figure out, if this is on septic or sewer. Like, you learn about houses, and that's really important,
That's
and
cool.
Comfortable talking to strangers, all kinds of different, type of people, walk into an open house. So you never know. And I did have an open house lead that led to 3 additional closed referrals. I had 4 closings from one open house.
That's awesome.
I think that's a great thing right there for people who are listening.
It's crazy.
I've heard Holly mention open houses a lot, and I see a ton of new agents that don't want to do them. But
it's clear it works. She's closed like an average of $1 million a month. So it's it's obvious. There's proofs in the pudding.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. No, that's awesome. So, and then tying it back into social media, if no one's coming into the open house, you can
Yeah. So
use that time.
yeah. So social media, I got very comfortable. People are always talking to me about my social media. So social media, I got very comfortable with from my first business. I spent tens of thousands of dollars learning about online marketing and social media and all of that. But then also so much of social media and just getting familiar with whether it's AI or technology is just like experimenting, like trying different things and seeing what works with your audience. So when you look at like my Instagram, for example, which by the way has led to direct closings, literally somebody saw something I posted, they liked it, they engaged with it, we had a conversation, and a week later we're looking at a house, and a month later they closed. That is, I mean, straight up for sure. Social media is a lead generation source for me. But that is also like, for me, I just see it as like whether you like it or not, in real estate, like you're just like we all do, right? Like you're going to research people. So people see my name on a business card or a sign or whatever. Well, then they're going to type in my name, and then you're going to go find my social media. It's like an online resume. And
Right.
so, and I am comfortable talking on camera. I don't go back and like look at I probably will not go back and look at this video. It scares me, but I don't go back and like look at my videos or anything like that. But
Post to move on.
Yeah, just post and move on. And don't worry about it being perfect, because it's more important that you just put yourself out there. And more people do want to see they're interviewing you before they even call you.
Right.
And so, and also it can be a great way to demonstrate your knowledge, your just demeanor, and that sort of thing. And I think it can also, and I've definitely felt this way in my first business, is sometimes we're going to work with people that we don't love being around, but isn't it better when you're working with people that you enjoy being around? And what social media is, it's a filter. I mean, if somebody checks, I'm not going to be the right realtor for everybody, just like I wasn't the right coach for everybody. So I don't know. And I also go find things that what services that I found my nail salon person, my hair salon person, like on Instagram. So
that's awesome.
Using Instagram specific, sorry, Sam.
Yeah.
I know you said that, we'll go back to the example. Mm-hmm. You post something, there's engagement. From the engagement, you're reaching out, making the connection, doing a showing, 30 days later, ideally closing. Are there certain forms or social media outlets that you're seeing better engagement and better conversion rates with? I mean, I'm imagining it's Instagram, but I know a lot of people still do utilize Facebook. And now that you're getting younger generation, Gen Zs that are, actively working now, and they're looking to buy their first home. I don't utilize TikTok, but I know that there's a lot of benefits from it. So I am kind of curious where you're getting most of the leads and where you're converting them and kind of grabbing them off first take.
So actually, I believe it's like, well, for the it is a little bit generational. So for the over 50 population, Facebook and actually YouTube is a really strong, a lot over 50 are using YouTube and Facebook. Facebook and Instagram are what I am most comfortable and confident with. And definitely both of them, I would say, have a strong conversion rate. For anybody that's like watching this, maybe it's somebody that I've worked with or might work with in the future. But like if you add me on Instagram, I'm probably going to go try to find you on Facebook and vice versa. Like I'm going to try to connect with you however I can. Yeah. And so Facebook is like the Facebook groups. I'm seeing a lot of good success there. And then Instagram is mostly like so it kind of differs, but like if somebody, follows me, I'll just shoot them. I don't use automated messages because I like it to be a little bit more organic. Sometimes I'll send, depending what it is, I'll send them like a voice memo or even a video. If it's like a friend of a friend or something, I know that they're moving to the area, I'll just send a little video message to them through Instagram. Or I'll just, if it's somebody that's like somebody I don't know, they've followed me, I'll just send them, hey, like, thank you for following my account. something like that. So I do, because I'm not an influencer. I don't have like hundreds of thousands of followers. So I have the time, and I don't mind taking time to send a little message sometimes.
Hey, our friend Marie McClure just said hi in the chat. She's a friend of mine, so she just saw you're on the show.
she is class act. I love Marie. Hi, Marie.
She's so great. Yeah. So, hey, Marie, I need to have you on the show soon. I'll be shooting you a message soon. So,
yes, for sure. I really want to hear from Marie. Absolutely.
Yeah, but kind of changing just a little bit. I know you already are stepping into leadership roles. You're the vice chair for professional development and Rethink Council. What drives you to give back so early?
Because like I've had so like we talked just briefly about mindset, and like I don't believe in myself every single day, but I have people that believe in me. So Jimmy Burgess, I don't know if do you guys know Jimmy?
I do not.
All right, well, you got to reach out to Jimmy and see if you can get him on the show.
Yeah, connect us. Yeah,
I will. So he's the president of the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, which is our Panhandle location where we are, the Destin, St. George Island, and Watercolor offices. And I met him at a Young Professionals event, like right after I got my license. And he came and he spoke, and it was on online marketing. And anyway, I just really connected with him. I ended up doing a month of coaching with him very, very early on, but he's always just been really, really encouraging. And so, oh my gosh, I just lost track of the question. I feel so embarrassed. Can you bring me back to the question?
Yeah. No, I was just talking about being on the Rethink Council as the vice chair. Like what's driving you to give back first year on it?
So just like Jimmy came to mind, but like my mentor Mary, like people that poured into me and believed in me, like that, like I don't know that they really had any other reason to, other than they knew me or but they believed in me. And so I just feel like I have energy and excitement and passion for education, and also specifically at the Emerald Coast Association of Realtors, like our educational offerings, like for continuing education, I think are fantastic. And we have instructors, state instructors, like Florida instructors, but also local instructors that live nearby and really are passionate about what they're teaching. And I mean, most of the classes are free or very low cost. I mean, free, but like we pay our dues, for the association. But there's all these educational opportunities, and I am so grateful for those educational opportunities. Like I'm so grateful for all the, things that are offered at the association. So my point with that is just that like I'm giving back because I've had so many people that are pouring into me and that believe in me. And I just think it's really important, to be able to, pay it forward. And the educational opportunities locally here are awesome. And I want to just keep being a champion for that.
No, like I was saying, it's crazy. The opportunities that you guys have specifically in your county, in comparison to just neighboring counties, not only other states and things like that. So diving into that is just natural networking. And I think, and then also it's educating yourself, furthering your education, but you're also getting even more doing those classes in person from people who have been here for 10, 20 years that have been selling. And it just allows you to kind of make that jump from, okay, yeah, I've had my license for a year and I've only been, here for 2.5 years in this area, but that doesn't matter. I'm connecting with people who are doing it the best, and I'm learning the best ways, and success is breeding that, obviously. So
we all, like, when you are around somebody that is like, it doesn't matter how long or short somebody's been in something, or even like I was talking with my girlfriend about this the other day, but like when you're around somebody who's very passionate about what they do, like that's contagious, and just to be in other rooms with people that are passionate and excited about whatever it is, like that's awesome. That's a good place to be,
No, it's super good. And I think that's something that if you guys are in the local area, you guys should reach out to Holly, right? And you guys should go to some courses and check out everything that's offered, because now the second time we've talked about your area with education, and it's just like light years ahead of what some other offerings and other people have. So people should take advantage of it. I was curious, because we've talked a little bit about how you've jump started, and I am curious on all of your transactions. Like, I want to know, I always love asking, like, what's the best and what's the worst? We usually do this with people who do, flips and things like that, because there's always some funny horror story. So I am kind of curious on that, and they can be pretty high level. But then I want to kind of go again back through, if I'm a new agent, how can I kind of emulate that success? And I took a good amount of notes, about 10 big details that I picked through, but I definitely want you to chime in on anything that I missed through. So we'll start first. Give us the good one. I want to hear the best deal that you've had.
Well, I recently was able to help a seller, and it was her father's property, and it was a property that it was pretty tough, because her father had passed away, and her father had lived there like basically just the last couple of decades of his life. But it was a beach property. Like, the potential for this house was just amazing, because it had a deeded beach access, and it was just really, really nice square footage. And I could see like just the great opportunity there. But I was able to assist her. She's in her 70s, and I was able to assist her through like coordinating and getting the estate sale going, and, clearing out all of his belongings and all of that. And then we needed to get the property up to, it wasn't like a true, we wanted to get it to a place where it was like a blank canvas. So I helped her oversaw redoing the floors, and then redoing the paint, and redoing the landscaping, just kind of make it like a clean blank canvas. And then people could come in and, change up whatever they wanted to change up. But really helping her with that. It was a process that started back in the spring, and did close last month. And
Congrats.
She was just awesome to work with. Like I said, she was in her 70s, but you wouldn't know it. She's super energetic, had an amazing sense of humor. Just really, really funny lady. But like, her father, without going into too much detail, but he just lived a really, really incredible life, and really made an incredible impact on a lot of people. Like a modern day hero. And just, I literally, like, there were times where, cause she lives out of the area, so she would come down, and kind of, she came down a couple of times, and we were able to meet in person together. And like, there were times where, like, I was on the verge of tears with some of the stories she was telling me. I was going through like family photos with her. It was just so rewarding to help her sell that house. And I also think the buyers got an amazing deal in this market. So we got it sold under the most amazing, like really, really good terms for her, because that was my priority. And I also just feel super excited for the buyers too. And it was just such a rewarding experience to work with her. So that was like the best. That's what comes to mind. The worst was
it doesn't have to be like, why I say the worst, it's troublesome. Like, coming to my head, I'm
let's just let her think what the worst is. Let her figure it out.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't want to put her on. I didn't want to put her on the spot, and then the listener is like,
one.
Hey, that was my house.
Yeah.
So this was last fall. It was one of my first transactions. I did, and I want to like mention this, because anybody could be watching this. I had a lot of support, so I want you guys to understand it wasn't like things that happened with this deal that I'm going to explain. It wasn't like me just like out there winging it, like figuring real estate as I go. Like, I had a lot of support, and people that were helping me, and people I could go to with questions any time of day, and all of that. So I was working with the buyer, and she had decided on a house, and the house had a lot of like tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage, wood decay. Okay. It was not a house that was going to be right for her, but she really, really loved this house. Well, that report came back and basically she was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, consulting with my mentors and things like that. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, then the seller decides that they're not going to sell the house. Like within the same day, within a 24-hour period, she also has her financing fall through. Like her financing gets canceled and it's like through some company that I won't even name, but it was just through a company that like is a big company and they hadn't really fully qualified her and all of that. So, and we were already like 30 days. We were into contracts. Like we were like probably about 20 days into contract at this point. So that gets canceled, falls through. And then I'm like, well, I've got to help this lady. Like, so because she's also like selling her house. Like she's going to be homeless, she's got to help her find a house. So go back, we get her, we do find somebody that can help her, get financing. And then we do find a house. The house had been in the market for over 400 days. So you can just imagine it was an older house. I think it was almost as old as she was. She was an older woman. But there were all kinds of interesting things I learned from that process, just with an older house that did have like older wiring and older plumbing and all of those things. But then right before we were about to close, we had Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, like during that time. And one of them, we couldn't like bind insurance. And then there was also a snag with the roof because there was no permit. So anyway, all this being said, it took like 60 days from the time that I met her to the time that we closed. I ended up writing 2 contracts through that process. I learned so much about so many things. And it was a referral because it was, so it was a referral, meaning like, without going into too much detail, I didn't make very, very much money at all. And it was a lower price point. And it was like the sweetest day when we closed and everything was good with that. But it was a lot, like the whole time.
A lot of work.
Like, really exhausted.
Right. Well, hey, and while you're looking through any homes in Destin or Fort Walton, if you find a home that has bad wiring or plumbing that won't qualify for conventional financing, I'm the guy you call. So because I might be able to take that off your hands and then relist it with you when it's good to qualify for your conventional buyers. No, that's awesome though that you were able to help her. There's definitely always some deals that are a little tougher to get to the finish line, but it's great when you can help someone truly in need, because you probably know that someone else wouldn't have taken as much time to make sure she got in the home.
No,
yeah,
I know that for sure.
Yeah. Well,
so it was like the worst, but it was like really rewarding too at the end.
Yeah. No, that's good. You'll get I'm sure if we ask you this in 5 years, you'll have a nightmare for us by then.
Oh yeah.
So what advice would you give someone who's thinking about jumping into real estate today, especially if they're another military spouse or a former teacher?
This is maybe just my opinion, but I think that if you're going to be a realtor, you really owe it to your customers and like to your family or to yourself to do it full time. Don't go in it halfway. You're going to be so much more proficient with like knowing your stuff. Our forms are constantly changing. Like the condo documents have changed like 5 times. I mean, our forms
I can imagine.
All the time. And you can really, you really can, interfere with your customer's position or their ability to, whatever their goal is, you can really interfere with their goal if you don't know your stuff. And so if you don't know your stuff because you don't get enough practice, that, so I think that you gotta really be able to treat it with that mindset. And you're not going to be full-time at first, but you need to really be able to like, okay, well, what does this look like? How am I working toward making this full-time? So that's maybe my opinion. Maybe not everybody agrees with that, but I think you gotta, and also like, I think that there is going to be, because not everybody can go into it, full-time or something like that. I'm in a privileged position because my husband does have his W-2. And I did have another business that was helping in that way. It's just that, make that jump as soon as you can. So if you're not able to do it full-time, make that a goal to work toward.
No, I think that's great advice. And you mentioned that earlier. I'd written down here that you said you went all in when we talked about like how you had so much success year one in the first 12 months. And something I wrote down here was you treated being an agent as a full-time job from day one. And I really liked that. And there were a lot of other things that I'm going to go over kind of high level. And I would love if there's other things that maybe I missed that you want to tell the audience on things that maybe could help them jumpstart. The things that helped you is you were a solopreneur, right? You treated this, you're going full time from day one. You're like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. You're already pre-planned when you're in Hawaii, halfway, not even across the country, but like way out. Yeah. And I definitely agree. Being able to problem solve, you're dealing with people's problems, kind of like what you just were mentioning, and then you're finding a solution. So being solution oriented. Treat being an agent as a business from day one. I love that. I actually wrote it down twice. Having that support system. I really loved how you doted on a few key people, even from previous brokerages or just transactions and realtors that you've interacted with who are now friends. I think that's important. Comparison to top realtors. I written down that you were listening to podcasts and you were doing a whole bunch of things, kind of creating that vision and that mindset, which then allowed into the next part of the conversation was being goal specific. Because I kind of like, okay, I'm going to do 8 million this year. Oh, well, I did that. I'm going to do 10 million. And now it's like, I'm going to do 12 million. I think the stepping stones and creating those goals and then actually having them numerically down and written. And I'm sure you have the way that you go over your affirmations and like, this is what I'm doing. Something else I had written down is you network and you coincide that networking because you prioritize education. I think that's something that a lot of realtors maybe kind of aren't excited about, right? They're like, oh, I got to do these CEs right now, right? And it's like, oh, this continuing ed isn't that great? But you've been able to learn from all of those, and now you're serving on a board. Then I have social media, being able to instantly connect. I loved the personal video call. I wrote that down like via Instagram. I think that's really, really unique, but also it's like, why aren't we doing that? You can send a little.
No, right? Like you can kind of tell, obviously I'm not going to be like sending random videos to like just whoever, but for
sure.
Maybe, so be discerning about that. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be like very personal way to them as closely as I can,
No, it's a huge touch point that's very unique. And it's like, oh yeah, if someone sent me a personal message like that and then I just don't respond, well, that's probably not the client you want to work with, right? So I think that's like a great feeler in that sense. And then the big one, which started at the very beginning, is go host an open house. You did 12 in the first 8 weeks, and then one of those turned to four different transactions. I'm sure I kind of unloaded all of those. Just these are little notes. And I was like, man, these are all really, really great for someone who's new or wants to jump into the business. Is there anything else kind of like what Sam was asking that you could think of?
So I think like, people might go like, well, how do you treat it like a business? Or like, if I can't be full-time, or like, how do I work toward going full-time? So like, for me, that really looked like I've met veteran agents who've been doing this for a while, and they're like, my CRM, my client, right? I think it's like customer resource management, like your database, right? Whether you just have this like on a Excel spreadsheet, or you have something that's really like AI and automated, but like everybody, like you guys are going into my email database, like everybody's in my database, right? So building that up, and then like, what are you doing with that? Because the thing is like, yeah, I'm on social media, but like, what happens if Instagram and Facebook disappears? And so I took that lesson from my first business. I knew that I needed to have a database. I needed to keep my database not perfectly organized, but keep it, somewhat organized. and then be like nurturing or communicating with that database. So I'm sending out regular emails. I have a system for that. So that's part of, I think treating it like a business. And then that kind of, leads into like, how do I structure my day? What is the, course of each week look like? And then even within the day, what is my, structure for the day look like? Now in real estate, like I might think that my, tomorrow is going to look one way, but then and like this happened yesterday. I didn't anticipate having a bunch of showing appointments this afternoon and evening, but then I got into some conversations last night, and then it meant that I was showing properties this evening right before I started this call, So sometimes you got to be flexible, but you also need to be structured, because if you're too flexible, then you're going to go do your day like based on how you feel. So, I try to keep a structure for my day and kind of have a certain way of doing things. And it helps like that I have kids and they have activities and certain things. So that helps kind of build my structure accordingly. So like whether you want to call that time blocking or just scheduling, building your database. And then I think prospecting is literally like in the sense of talking to people and like just constantly having an idea of like trying to talk to as many. You start talking to people and just ask them how they're doing. I'm not like gonna try to like sell a house to everybody, but just talking to people, asking how they're doing, how their family's doing, what's going on. Eventually the topic of real estate is going to come up. Like it just does. So
I definitely agree.
Yeah. It's crazy. That way, then, when they are in need of some help, then like they're going to, I'm going to be top of mind.
You're the person they think of. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that when it comes to like treating it like a business is it really like any business. And that means also that you have to have a positive mindset. You also, I don't consider myself the most optimistic person, but you do. You have to be positive, and you have to just be like, almost like fake it till you make it, but believe in yourself. And you probably need to work harder than you think you do.
Put in a lot more hours than what you think. Yeah.
No, I think that's such great advice for anybody starting out. And I mean, such an incredible year. Before we wrap everything up, what's your focus going into year 2? What's that goal number? Are you scaling and building a team yet, or are you still just going, real hard as an agent?
So knowing that I was running 2 businesses up until June, I mean, really, like, I feel like this next year, 2026, is like my first full year all the way in real estate, if that makes sense. I'm really hopeful that it's going to be an even better year on in multiple ways than this year has been. I've got some, performance related goals in mind. Not quite ready to share those, but I definitely have some performance related goals that I've, been thinking of and starting to write down. The thing is though, like for me, like if I write it down, like it's going to happen. So I'm like,
I want to push you a little bit. Share just one goal for the next year. Just so people hear. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I sold. I want to sell my very first $1 million property next year.
Okay.
And it's not even like, I mean, that might sound like really like to make
that's totally doable in Destin.
Yeah, it's doable. Yeah. And I was pretty close on a couple this year, and I just I think that'd be pretty cool. It's like one of those little milestones or whatever. And I want to be on some more podcasts next year.
Well, that's cool. Well, we'll definitely have you back a year from now for a recap. I mean, because this was such a powerful story, from a military spouse with a master's in education to building $1 million real estate business in 1 year. Your journey is so inspiring. Where can people connect with you online, and what's the best way for someone to send you a referral?
Yeah, thank you so much. On Instagram, I'm at Homes by Holly D. And then Facebook, LinkedIn, I don't know, wherever else, Threads, I think, just Holly Darcy. And just kind of one more thing, like I I know we're running low on time, but I think that a big thing for me is education, because I didn't have all of the resources and all the know-how. I didn't just have it all figured out. And so I think whether you're self-made in just whatever kind of way, right? It's not like things are just going to be handed to you. So you've got to work for it. But I think that just with effort and with education, like you can really get there. I didn't know like how to start a business in 2015, but I had people. I can still know those people like in my mind of like, they were like, no, you need to start your LLC. You need to start your coaching business. And then I had people in my real estate, no, you need to do this, do this. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I believe in you. So that support system, education, and effort, I think, can go a really long way.
I think that's awesome. No, I love that. And kind of in closing, something that people might be curious is how are you getting and finding these people who are creating the support system for you? I think a lot of people are scared to be an agent and they don't have these support systems. And you've mentioned a few times, and that was one of those highlighted things, which I totally agree. Having a support system, but also knowing how to support yourself and keeping that mindset. But where would I go to find that?
Well, I think that you've got to, there's so much out there, but I'm just thinking like, I think it just starts with having conversations and asking questions, and probably a little bit of like vulnerability, like kind of knowing where, like not being afraid to ask for help or accept help. But like, I think like with my, my mentor, Mary, when I called her, I had this idea in my head, but there's this like space between having an idea and taking action on it. So I called her in the car. I literally hung up with her and like signed up for my license class. And then 2 days later, I started my license class. And then 7 days later, I was done. And then 3 days later, I passed my exam. So I just like, you just gotta, even if you don't have it all figured out, like you gotta make a decision, look at all your options, make a decision, and go. You gotta go, because if you don't go, then you're not gonna go anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah, just take action. Yeah, that's honestly the best advice you can get. Anything to do with real estate is take action. If it doesn't work out, you'll figure out how to do it better the next time.
That's a fact. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
It's, it's just, it's
worst thing to happen is it doesn't work, and then one way not to do it again.
Yeah. You learn so much from your failures. Exactly. So yeah. Well, thank you guys. This was super fun.
Yeah, this was
definitely
awesome.
Yeah, and for anybody listening who is building new houses along the Emerald Coast, anywhere between Fairhope and Panama City Beach, definitely shoot us a message. We got the building supplies for the low. So all you got to do is shoot us a message to the EliteRealEstatePodcast.com. And in that message box, put attention Will. Will is your ultimate salesman for Dufresne Building Supplies. He can help you get everything you need for the low here along the Emerald Coast.
Yeah. I'll take care of you guys for sure. And if you guys have any lots or you're looking to partner JV on a build, definitely excited to get a few new partnerships coming up for 2026. If you guys want to walk through any of our houses, maybe we need to call Holly to do a walkthrough or an open house. And but we'd love to partner up. A lot of opportunities. I think we'll have a sidebar, maybe 15-minute update of what's happening in Santa Rosa. Huge county commissioner meeting that happened last night on new zoning requirements and conservation land.
We'll probably need to shoot a YouTube video on that.
But I definitely think there's a lot of things that are happening in the development side. So if you guys have any lots, or you're looking, or you have a deal that you're curious on and have any questions, I actually got 3 people that messaged me about land deals today. So just shoot me a message. Just check out EliteRealEstatePodcast.com. And yeah, we're looking forward to doing some deals with everybody. So.
Exactly. And hey, if anyone is a busy real estate professional or busy investor, none of you guys have time to cook. That's why you need to come to Clean Eats. We have locations in Mobile, Alabama, Pensacola, Florida, Shalimar, and Tallahassee. We're a healthy cafe and a full-service meal prep company. We offer custom meals. We have meals from everyone from, just the everyday person wanting something, healthy to eat, to someone who wants to get ready to do a bodybuilding competition, we can help you out there too. So just come see us at Clean Eats. But definitely, if you got a lot in Escambia County that you want to get rid of or that's buildable, or you want to just partner with someone to have them build it and just give you half the profit, Will and I are who you should contact. So definitely shoot us a message on the EliteRealEstatePodcast.com. But Holly, this was a great episode. We're definitely going to have to meet up in Destin, and stuff. And, we'll have to link up, grab lunch sometime. Like I said, I enjoyed this. And I think you gave a lot of great information to anyone starting out. I think this is going to inspire anybody who's thinking about getting into real estate, because a lot of people don't know what's possible until they see someone do it. And to see you, accomplish that much in, your first year is, definitely give yourself a big pat on the back, because it's a huge accomplishment. And we're definitely proud of you over here at the Elite Real Estate Podcast.
Thank you, guys. And if anybody's in the local area or not, and I'm an open book. I really just, if you have questions, we can grab lunch or coffee. I'm here to help, because I've had other people help me. So however I can, I'd love to be of assistance.
Awesome, guys. Well, we appreciate everyone listening this week, and we can't wait to see you guys next week on the Elite Real Estate Podcast. So thank you for tuning in.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.